Oh, here we go. Libs of TikTok says, breaking. Democratic protesters stormed the Rayburn building and staged an insurrection in D.C. today. I'm shaking. This is worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11.
What? What kind of a pussy-ass statement is that?
Oh, my God. Yeah, so if you're unfamiliar, there was a protest. There was a budget meeting where they were going to talk about cutting Medicare and Medicaid. And so there was a protest. As you can see in this picture, a bunch of disabled people showed up in their wheelchairs to protest. A bunch of non-disabled people showed up. A bunch of people showed up. But they didn't have a permit to protest. It was a spontaneous thing. And they were interrupting the proceedings. It was civil disobedience.
I'm also just going to say the concept of needing a permit to protest is astoundingly stupid. Just throwing that out there as my own opinion as somebody who's gone to protest.
I have always thought that was weird. It's like you have to ask the government for permission to protest the government.
Yeah, no.
That feels like an easy to abuse system.
Yeah, that's very stupid.
Yeah, but like, so the end result, around 25 people got arrested because they refused to leave when they were told to leave. But like, it's civil disobedience. Like, how many times was Martin Luther King Jr. arrested?
I mean, his letter to the white moderate was famously written in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called a letter from a Birmingham jail. Mm-hmm. Or is that a different letter?
No, that is the letter from the Birmingham jail.
Because I'm like, maybe there's another one that has that title that but I'm like, by the contents, yeah, no, that sounds like it is the Birmingham jail one. But yeah, no, it's like getting arrested protesting is as American as apple pie, which was famously not actually invented in America, so it's like French or something.
It's as American as chicken tendies.
It's as American as claiming that something that isn't actually American is American.
Yeah, that's as American as you can get.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I should share this story.
I mean,
it does involve me. It does involve me confessing to a crime.
Oh, then maybe you don't.
It's not one that I have any reason to believe would be prosecuted.
It's still,
it's a funny story though.
But you want to be clean on OPSEC.
Okay, so Suris, have you seen Sinners?
No, I have not.
Okay, it is good. I enjoyed it. For the record, I do not like horror movies.
Okay.
But I still enjoyed this one.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, here we go. Olivia Williams says, seriously, the watching people's to like ratio is dismal. People's like and subscribe, or Rhino will like you half as much as you deserve. Yeah, so I saw Sinners. Music from it is fantastic. It's phenomenal. And so I pulled up the soundtrack on YouTube Music. But one of the things that I do, like, I don't like using YouTube Music for many reasons.
Oh, well.
The apples we grew were best for alcohol/cider. Yeah. My mother has one of those trees in her backyard, and the apples will fall and naturally rot. So she gets a bazillion yellow jackets in her yard, but none of them will sting you because they're too drunk to know what's going on. Yeah. So anyway, I don't like using YouTube Music. So or like any of the streaming things, I like to like actually have my media.
Yeah.
So I recorded the soundtrack into MP3 files that I now have on my hard drive. So technically that is piracy.
Yeah.
I was doing that while I was in the process of listening to my, like, I had it playing and recording in the background while my partner was talking to me about a revelation that she had about like some of her childhood experiences and how like how coming at that from like a different racial perspective imbues it with a very different feeling depending on how you're looking at it. So like, 'cause she is mixed race. And so she was like talking about her experiences from like the Black perspective. And so I was sitting there and like, I'm doing like the whitest thing that it is possible to do right now. Like I am a white man sitting here stealing black music as you tell me about the black experience. just like Elvis.
Well,
I'm just like Elvis.
So long as you don't put it in a museum, then at least you're not doing it as bad as the British and also us.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I thought that was amusing. The juxtaposition of, being informed on the black experience while simultaneously being a white guy stealing black music.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, though. Really good movie.
Yeah, I do need to see it. Unfortunately, the movie budget is effectively already called because Saki wants to see Lilo and Stitch. And, no matter how many times I tell her that Lilo and Stitch already exists, actually, that's not going to change the fact that she wants to go see it.
Yeah. Probably the funniest review I've seen of Sinners was one that complained that the sex scenes weren't very good. And I'm just like...
What a world to live in.
Like, why... Like, no, I don't make my decisions based on which... Like, I don't make my decisions on which movies to go see based on how good I think the sex scenes are going to be. If I want to see a sex scene, that's what porn is for. You can just watch porn. I want to see a good story. If a hot, steamy, sweaty sex scene drives the story and is thematically appropriate or whatever, I'm not against it. But, like, I'm not going to my normal movies to see sex.
Then again, there's all those people who watched Arcane just to see the sex scene between Caitlyn and Vi, so I can't... I'm used to this weirdness on the internet.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was funny.
Drellick says, but they're trying to outlaw porn now. Yeah, there is,
Go to surfshark.com/ViceRhino. No, just Rhino, not Vice Rhino. You get 4 months for free, which is a limited time offer, which I've been offering for like 3 years now.
It is...
I don't know what the limit is, but apparently it's limited.
It is weird.
Actually, they do change it every now and then. It bumps back and forth between 4 and 3, so I think that's what that's how they technically get around calling it limited time.
Because it changes?
Yeah. It's limited. You won't always get the 4-month offer. Sometimes you'll get the 3-month offer. And then that one's limited because if you wait another 6 months, it'll go up to 4 months. I don't know. I don't write the copy. Well, I don't write the parts of the copy that they say I have to say.
It's like freaking...
Okay, no, Sean. So did you hear that the Pope is black? Which, by the way, now on an entire video I'm doing Blues Brothers music. So the Pope does not identify as black.
Yeah, that man also does not look black in the slightest.
Well, that's not the point. That's actually something that was brought up in Sinners that I probably wouldn't have noticed it if it weren't for dating the person that I am dating. Is that there is a white passing character that has, like, her grandfather was black, but she looks white. And at one point in the movie, the black people have their juke joint that they've set up, and the vampires that they don't know they're vampires yet. They just see that it's a bunch of white guys show up and they're like, hey, can we come in and play some music for you and spend some money with you? And they're like, no, this is our space, not yours. And so they see the white passing person and say, well, how come she's there? And the response to that was not to explain, oh, her grandfather was black, so she gets it. It was, they just like cut it off and be like, because she's family. And my partner really appreciated that moment, because that's one of the things that mixed race people deal with, is that when they're in, like, someone who is mixed race but can be white passing, when they're in white spaces, they're seen as black. And when they're in black spaces, they're seen as white. And that's so fair. They kind of get the worst of both worlds.
I'm just
in some ways.
For some reason, I am just now thinking of Uncle Ruckus going through his diatribe about, I suffer from reverse vitiligo. I was born a very beautiful white baby.
Yeah, so that's where race as a social construct comes in. So the Pope does have black ancestry, but he does not identify with that. He was like, he went to a Catholic school. He looks white. He didn't have the black experience, so he does not identify as black. And because it's a social construct, that's completely fair for him to be like, no, just because my grandfather's black doesn't mean I'm black. And on the flip side, it is entirely possible that there are people in his situation that look white but were raised black, and so they could have the black identity even looking white. And that's what made the Rachel Dolezal thing so insidious.
I love this timeline so much.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought that was some interesting nuance that I am aware of purely because of who I date. And I know, like, that scene in Sinners, I would have either not noticed it, or it would have just struck me as like, oh, that's kind of weird that they would say, like, I don't think they mentioned a familial connection. They're like, okay, whatever. So yeah, it's interesting being able to. This is why representation matters. It kind of expands the experience for everybody.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you.
Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that,
Leela Ururaka,
Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fire Shard.
Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.